Hello, friends, and welcome to Bottled and Bond, a discussion of the James Bond movies and lore alongside spirited companions. I am Mike Scott, and I have been watching James Bond movies for nearly 30 years, but have never really taken a deep dive into the history and lore of this film franchise. So, alongside my friend Charlie, we're going to delve into each of the 25 Eon-produced movies. During this episode, we will be sampling and discussing a spirit or two that would pair nicely with the movie. Today, we will be discussing the fifth movie in the franchise, 1967's You Only Live Twice. So find your cigarette case, prepare your favorite cocktail, shaken not stirred of course, and leave your hat at the door while we ponder this question. Was turning Japanese even necessary? This is episode 005, You Only Live Twice. Charlie, welcome, as always.
Thank you.
We got a nice 3-day Memorial Day weekend. Happy Memorial Day to all that celebrated. It's a big event here because we live right outside of Indianapolis. So right now we have, the Indy 500, but we also have the Fever played and lost today. I'm sure this is great Bond talk, all this sports stuff.
Very good.
And then the Pacers tomorrow. Very exciting stuff. I can always just
up
cut
2-0.
Right. Let's start with the companion beverages. We're going to have 2 of those today. Our first one is going to be a plum wine. I'm going to butcher this name, but we will say Geki Ikon. This is a plum wine imported from Japan. I could have sworn I saw this in the movie, but I think I was wrong.
We'll go with it.
Ooh, that is not the color I expected that to be.
Right.
I thought it was going to be more like purple.
Yes, your wife described it as kind of looking like tea.
It definitely does. It definitely looks like tea.
She did not describe the taste as tea, so here we go.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Okay, that's delicious.
It's plum.
Her and I have very different tastes on stuff like that.
She thought it was too sweet.
I mean, it does taste like Manischewitz a little bit,
yeah.
But I love that kind of stuff.
The ice might help, though. For one thing, she had it room temperature.
Okay. This is my favorite so far. This
It's
is delicious.
It's better than I thought it was going to be. But I bet it being cold does make a difference.
Yes. Yeah. We'll have to chill it.
And you'd get a little bit of melting in there to maybe make the thickness and sweetness a little more mild.
Yeah. You always want that thickness to be a little more mild.
That's what I always say.
We'll start with errors and omissions. We didn't know the exact conversion of knots to miles per hour, but we weren't that far off. 20 knots is 23.02 miles per hour.
Right.
So it's not very fast. It doesn't sound very fast.
No, it is. Well, I mean, it's hard to move in water. It always surprises me how slow boats are.
Yeah.
And how much power it takes to make them still go fairly slow.
Right.
About as slow as the Wienermobiles in the Wienermobile 500 race yesterday.
Yes, they raced Oscar Mayer Wienermobiles yesterday. If we had a race on the water, I would have hoped that we would have had some Wienermobile races.
Yeah, you can put that link in the notes.
I will. So we have a new segment, listener comments.
Oh, I like this.
Yeah, we have friends of the show.
That means we have listeners.
I know, friends of the show. So our first one is from our friend Amy. She sent a link that actually goes back to Dr. No, and I didn't notice this, but there's a scene much later in the movie of the 3 blind mice like tracking Bond. Like he's with the government military guy. I'll show you that picture there. You can see it.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, and you can barely see them in the background, but they're all 3 in the background walking by.
I do not remember seeing that.
So once I get that 4K disc in a couple weeks, looking forward to going back and looking for that.
Interesting.
Our second listener comment comes from...
We have 2 listeners?
We do. We have 2.
Gosh.
We know both of them.
Obviously.
But still, it was nice of them to send stuff in. I had to read this comment on air specifically for you.
Oh, good.
So this is from friend of the show, George.
Yeah.
He says, keep the slap and tickle count rolling. Rum Collins, Tom Collins. Only thing missing is a Phil Collins. What George does not know,
That is for me. What a big Genesis fan I am.
Charlie is a huge Genesis fan.
Yeah.
Kids, Genesis is a band that had two very distinct eras. One was very prog rock, and the other one was very pop rock. And Phil Collins was the ringleader, especially during the pop rock era.
One of them produced more amazing music, and the other one, I'm certain, made them tons and tons of money.
Phil Collins has an insane amount of record sales, like between solo and Genesis. It was crazy.
He made some good stuff, right? It wasn't bad pop music, right?
Definitely.
They made good pop music, so it was fine.
I mean, Take Me Home. What a great closing song. I love Take Me Home.
Yeah, but they even kept it going. They had like Home by the Sea and Second Home by the Sea, so they still had a little bit of proggy elements.
It really,
I don't
really
know how
good song. Illegal Alien.
That's aged as well as some of these Bond things.
Right. Let's talk about news.
Speaking of this movie.
Right. Only one news item this week. The death of Joe Don Baker. He's one of those guys that did two Bond movies as two completely different characters. The first one, I believe he was in a Timothy Dalton movie and he was like the main villain. And then he's probably better remembered as like the CIA contact in GoldenEye. So he was like friends with Bond in GoldenEye.
Oh, okay.
He passed away this last week. I think with that, we can go to the plot summary. When a mysterious rocket kills an astronaut and steals an American space capsule, the British are humble enough to refrain from joining a pissing contest between the U.S. and Russia. Convinced Russia was not behind the missing rocket, the British send James Bond to Japan to investigate. Unfortunately, James is killed in Shanghai before being dispatched. What's even worse is that 007 was killed before slap and tickle time with Ling. Thus ends You Only Live Once. Wait. This movie is called You Only Live Twice. So Bond fakes his death, sneaks into Japan, investigates Osato Chemicals, flies Little Nelly, and ultimately discovers that Spectre is behind the attacks on the rockets in space. After turning Japanese, I think he's turning Japanese, I really think so, Bond gets married, so he's able to sneak into the volcano. We finally meet Blofeld, face to face. Japanese intelligence head Tanaka invades the volcano with the cavalry. Much fighting ensues, and somehow Blofeld lives another day, escaping with Mr. Bigglesworth. The volcano base is destroyed, and Bond, shockingly, finds himself on a boat at the end with Kissy Suzuki. You only live twice.
I did not anticipate that turning Japanese joke. Outstanding work.
I am very proud of that one.
By the way, the cat has no name in these movies, for real, right?
No, so it's clearly Mr. Bigglesworth.
Well, obviously.
We have to. We'll talk about cast. Sean Connery, this is his 5th outing as James Bond. It looks like it's his 500th outing. He's starting to look a little rough around the edges. We have Akiko Wakabayashi as Aki, Mie Hama as Kissy Suzuki, Tetsura Tamba as Tiger Tanaka. I don't know if you're noticing a trend here, but we actually are casting Japanese actors
people
in
to be
in Japanese roles.
Characters. Wow.
What a refreshing change.
Yeah.
Donald Pleasance as Ernst Stavro Blofeld. He's also known for 2 movies that I really like, Halloween and Escape from New York.
Really?
Yeah.
2 movies I've never seen.
Yeah. And I'm going to go ahead and say this now because I thought it was hilarious. I watched a little documentary snippet, and I think it was Ken Adam, the production designer. He called him Blowfield also. So
really,
we're just on par with the production designer for these movies.
Obviously.
We got Karen Dorr as Helga Brandt, and she actually goes by number 11. Teru Shimada as Mr. Osato. Bernard Lee as M. That's 5th of 11 appearances. Lois Maxwell as Miss Moneypenny, 5th of 14 experiences. Desmond Llewellyn as Q, 4th of 17 appearances. This one was directed by Lewis Gilbert. That's the first of his 3. Screenplay by Roald Dahl. Did you know that?
I didn't. I saw it on the credits,
Isn't
and
that
I was
crazy?
amazed. I'm like, is that the same one?
The guy that wrote Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Wow.
Better movie being called Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. We don't talk about the Johnny Depp version.
Oh my gosh, no.
Production design by Ken Adam, the fourth of his 7. Theme song, You Only Live Twice. It's written by Leslie Bricusse with music by John Barry, who's been doing all the music on these so far. And it's performed by Nancy Sinatra, daughter of Frank Sinatra. Best known for the great song, These Boots Are Made for Walking.
That is an outstanding song.
Which does appear in Austin Powers.
Really?
It does. When he's fighting the fembots.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's right.
This one premiered in London June 12th, 1967. It was released in the UK and the US June 13th, 1967. So
I was not quite born yet, just for the record.
Not quite. Almost, but not quite. So we're now at 5 Bond movies in 5 years. Could you imagine if they still did that at that clip now?
That would be
We'd have like
great.
75 Bond movies
at
this point. Oh, you're not 75 yet, sorry.
Yeah, come on.
Budget on this one's $9.5 million, so only $500,000 more than Thunderball. This one grossed $67.5 million. When adjusted for inflation, that means over $931 million. It is the 6th highest grossing Bond movie of all time, inflation-wise. Host history with film, once again, I got nothing. I've just, I went through these from the beginning back in the early 2000s.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen this one on reruns so many times, just like the other ones.
Well, with that, let's go to the scene-by-scene breakdown. So we start off with Americans in space. Very realistic looking, them up there in that capsule.
Yes.
And they're doing whatever rocket men do. He probably misses his wife and his kid.
Okay, so what year was this again?
This came out in 1967. So we're right before...
We had never had a moon landing.
Right.
So orbiting the Earth would have still been a pretty amazing thing to do.
Yes.
Which appeared to be what they were doing.
Right.
By the way, I got your joke about missing his wife.
Nice. So we have a mysterious... What do you want to call that? Rocket, I guess you could
Super cool claw machine rocket.
Right. That opens up and kidnaps the capsule while at the same time cutting the lifeline for one of the astronauts, so he just dies and floats away.
Yeah, that was pretty hardcore, but yeah, I'm going to assume that it was hard enough for like the superpowers, the US and Russia, to send things into space. It's pretty amazing that Spectre has the resources, knowledge, know-how to send a bigger thing into space that can fly faster and actually capture the capsule. But it was pretty awesome watching the special effect of that thing opening up with the 4 doors of the claw machine thing and taking it in.
Yeah, Spectre was the Amazon or Tesla of their time.
It must have been.
But not nearly as evil.
Exactly.
Something I found interesting on this, the music for this, which I love this. I'll just say it up front. I love the music in this movie. Other than, the theme song we'll get to, but the music itself, the score I really liked. That music sounds exactly like the music they use in Austin Powers when he's in his Dr. Evil rocket.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty funny. So then we go to the failed Epcot Center in Alaska, where the Russians, the British, and the Americans are all meeting together, arguing back and forth about who is at fault for the capsule being stolen. The British don't think the Russians did. Of course, the Americans think the Russians did.
I mean, the British people who made this movie must have truly enjoyed making the Americans look like the distrustful warmongers who just assume it's Russia and are ready to go to war at a moment's notice because of it.
I mean, we know the British have never had any kind of conflict with anybody over the years, so
No.
They definitely are able to sit up in their ivory tower and pass judgment.
It was kind of entertaining, though.
We just lost our British listener.
You mean our prospective British
Right.
listener.
So now we go to China, Hong Kong specifically, where we look like we're getting a slap and tickle, but that slap and tickle was denied because the lady in question, Ling, gets out of the bed and the bed closes up, the wonderful
Murphy bed.
Murphy bed, and
That's
closes
why I'm
Bond
here.
up.
I'm here
Yes.
for great insights like the name of
Yeah,
that
I
bed
need
that
like
closes up in the wall.
I need the 200-year-old references because I don't get those.
Uh-huh.
So then a bunch of gunmen come in and, shoot the crap out of the bed.
Did you notice that Bond made a comment that Chinese girls taste different?
I did.
It really stuck out.
I figured you'd bring that up.
Yeah, that was a great one. Not even sure what to make of that.
I don't think it was mean necessarily
I
or
don't
even
either.
racist. It was just weird.
Yes.
Yeah. So Bond is killed, and then we have the pre-credits scene. What's going to happen now? Surely he's not going to stay dead, right?
No.
So there we get the opening credits with the great music and the Nancy Sinatra song. And then we go...
And a lot of volcanoes.
And a
And a
lot...
lot of lava flow with the silhouettes of women.
Yeah, there was definitely some nips shown in that one. You
Yeah.
could see some shadowed nips. Our episode just went 17 plus.
I'm imagining you with a magnifying glass up at the television, Mike.
Yeah, because I don't have the 4K yet. Once I get the 4K, they're basically going to poke me in the eye.
Yeah, exactly.
So now we get we go back to Hong Kong where we're at sea, and Bond is buried at sea. So the body clearly is recovered by those surviving divers from Thunderball. I mean, it's just the same guys. They just go in and get the body. No submariner. I was very disappointed in that. What a surprise. We get on the submarine and Bond is still alive.
Yes, with a breathing apparatus inside there.
And a questionable hairpiece, if I'm being honest. So Bond asks for permission to come aboard. Then he goes to see Moneypenny and reports in to M.
Well, fascinatingly, right, I thought it was interesting, the whole thing. It wasn't a military submarine. It's like an MI6 or whatever this is.
Yeah.
Submarine,
Spy
right?
submarine.
Spy submarine. And it's got like an office, and it has an office for Moneypenny, like right on the ship, right outside M's
It's got a
office.
rack for Bond to throw his hat on.
It was hilarious.
Yeah. So M talks about, what's going on between the Russians and the Americans and these rockets and stuff. He gives Bond a code to remember, and Bond immediately burns it. That's the same way I burn all of my sensitive stuff. I just hold it in my hand and set a lighter to it and let it burn out.
I bet in submarines they really encourage open flame as well.
Right, exactly.
That was my thought. And also all of the uniform of the people on the ship was shorts.
Yes.
They're wearing shorts.
Yes.
There's seems to be a theme of these like British military guys wearing shorts.
Right. I think they called them short pants back then. I wouldn't know because I wasn't alive, but I'm sure you know.
Yeah.
So now Bond has his mission. He's going to go to Japan, figure out what's going on, and they send him out the torpedo tube. I didn't look this up. There's no way that's possible that can be done, right?
I don't know, but I also thought they brought him in through some kind of chamber in a regular door where they obviously pumped the water out, and he could have gone back to that area where they pumped the water in, opened the door, and he leaves through a normal way. But I guess that wouldn't have been nearly as cool as sending him through the torpedo tube. But my assumption was that wouldn't really work out that great in real life. Right. But who knows?
So I guess this whole time they're sailing to Japan because obviously he's shot out of the torpedo and he just arrives on the shores of Japan.
And he's wearing a suit by then. He goes ashore from being fired out the torpedo tube, and now he's walking down the street with the suit on.
Right.
That made me wonder, how far is it from the coast to Tokyo in Japan?
From Hong Kong to Japan? I mean, that seems like that'd be a...
No, but I mean, when he went ashore in Japan, how long is it from the shore he goes ashore to get to Tokyo?
I believe Tokyo is like on the east side of Japan, so they would have had to... I
guess someone picks him up and some other spy and all that, gives him a suit and so forth.
Or maybe he just got in that rickshaw and went the whole way from the coast.
He might have.
I want a rickshaw, by the way. I want somebody to... I'll probably have my daughter do it, just travel around in a rickshaw.
You could buy one like Kramer and Newman do on Seinfeld.
Oh, that's our first Seinfeld reference of this
amazing?
podcast. Amazing. So now we got a mysterious character following Bond, and it's, for once, not Felix Leiter. We can be 99% sure that Japanese lady is not Felix Leiter. Bond eventually ends up at a sumo match. He gets to just walk into the locker room and talk to some random, contact that's in there. Then he goes into the arena. And we didn't talk about this, but when Bond was talking to Moneypenny on the ship, there was a code he had to give to his Japanese contact. And that code was, I love you.
I love you.
And Moneypenny was wanting him to say it so bad. And of course
She
didn't.
tried.
Yeah. So now we're at the sumo match.
Best place to meet a contact.
Oh, absolutely. And Aki is there. And talk a little bit about this character. The actress that played Aki, her name is Akiko Wakabayashi. She was originally going to play Kissy Suzuki, the later character. But the actresses ended up switching roles because the actress that played Kissy Suzuki did not speak English very well.
And she doesn't really have to too much.
She doesn't have to as much, and Aki has a lot more lines, yeah. And Aki is the first of many. We'll get into the book stuff. Aki does not appear in the book at all.
Oh, okay.
The book. This is the most deviation of a book so far. So Bond leaves with Aki.
In what type of vehicle?
I did it. I did it to impress you. It's a Toyota 2000 GT convertible.
It is.
Not a car that's normally a convertible. They had to make it into a convertible because Connery would not have fit in it otherwise.
It was a very cool looking car.
It is a very cool car.
Yeah.
But if you had a roof on that, like he would be so scrunched up that it would have just looked comical. Aki takes him to a guy by the name of Richard Henderson. He goes by Dicko. Great name. He's like the fifth.
Of course he does.
The fifth Mark's brother, Dicko.
Yes.
And Dicko Henderson, much more prominent character in the book, and doesn't, spoiler alert, doesn't die in the book. And he's like more manly.
Oh, interesting.
Really a more like, more well-formed character. I mean, this guy was basically just, you're here to give a little exposition and then you're going to get killed.
And honestly, at first, my impression was, oh, is this really a good guy? Or is this some guy who's trying to trick Bond? Especially because he doesn't know how he likes his martini.
Right. I'll talk about the actor a little bit. The guy's name's Charles Gray. And he's one of yet another one that's in two roles in Bond movies. So he's a good guy in this one. Very soon, he's going to be a very prominent bad guy in another one. We'll get there.
Okay. I thought he looked familiar. Yeah. In fact, Becky noticed right off the bat, she thought he was a bad guy because she recognized him, and then she looked him up on IMDb and realized he will be a bad guy.
Yes. So yes, he makes Bond his vodka martini. Stirred, not shaken. Apparently nobody caught that this was a mistake.
How could there not be a continuity person? How could Sean Connery not notice?
I know. I don't know why they decided to just go with it, but they did.
It's very confusing. Again, that's what made me think, oh, this guy doesn't really know Bond.
Right. So he first off, excellent kimono. He's wearing a very nice kimono. Charlie and I had discussed before recording this whether we wanted to wear kimonos. I decided it was just too much.
I was for it, and we had kimonos sourced, but oh well. I had to make a kimono when I was in grade school. I did some kind of little project about Japan, and I had to get this material, and my mom helped me cut it or whatever, and I made a kimono.
Nice.
Fun fact.
Real deep lore stuff of your podcast hosts here.
Exactly.
So we get our little exposition from Dicko, and then he gets stabbed in the back. And Bond jumps out that very sturdy, paper window and chases down the assassin. I didn't realize that this was filmed during COVID because that assassin, conveniently, he had his mask on.
He did have a mask on. I noticed that. But I just want to stop for one moment to note that I do love, there's so many just awesome things about Japan that you just know are Japanese, like the kind of sitting on the floor at little tables and things like that. But having the paper walls is the greatest thing ever. And of course, it makes me think of one of my favorite Simpsons episodes where Homer and Bart are in jail and learning to make origami. And then when he just walks through the wall to go out of jail because clearly they have those paper walls in
Right.
every structure in Japan.
Oh, wait till we get to that, Asato headquarters.
Yeah.
I have questions. So Bond chases down the assassin, catches him, kills him, takes his outfit, puts on his mask, gets in the getaway car. That's the sumo wrestler from earlier that he was talking to get information. The guy driving the car.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Like, it looked just like him. So the sumo wrestler takes Bond to Asato headquarters, which that building was a pretty nice new hotel in Tokyo, and they used it for filming for this. Bond is dumped on a chair and then surprises the sumo wrestler guy. It's not the assassin. The fight was pretty cool. It was clearly the stuntman. I mean, it's always hit and miss on these, whether, you can really tell that it's the stuntman or if it's Connery. This was obviously Bob Simmons, the guy that's done all these stunts.
Okay.
Doing the fight back and forth. I need that wet bar, though. So when Bond
when
takes
he
out,
opens up that door, which he knows is there, even though it's looks like a blank
Right.
wall, that bar looks amazing.
It does. So he stuffs the sumo wrestler into there.
And makes himself a drink.
He does. And he is not pleased with the Siamese vodka.
Siamese vodka, exactly.
Yeah. Decided not to make that one of our companion beverages because apparently it's no good.
Siamese, so that's Siam is Thailand, right?
Yes.
Yeah, fascinating.
Yeah. They probably have a commercial where they have twins. Like, remember the old Bud Light commercials? And
Obviously,
twins.
yes, for the Siamese vodka.
See, even I say things that have.
I was going to
well.
say that joke doesn't age well either.
So Bond breaks out his first gadget of the movie. It's the safecracker gadget. I thought that was pretty cool. For a second there, I thought our zip code was going to be the code, but then it was just the first two numbers.
I did think it was cool. It was rather convenient he had him with him.
Yeah.
But it was pretty cool. I was trying to imagine how it actually worked. I could never figure out what he was actually doing on there
Right.
when he was punching the buttons on it. Like, because he was turning the knob and then he would punch. I didn't really get how it worked.
We'll
and that
never know.
bothered me because I have issues with these things.
This is Charlie's segment where he talks about questionable,
Yes.
things that don't make any sense.
Right. What was the technology? Why did he have to push buttons on there? Because he was just turning the knob.
Yeah. So the alarm goes off as soon as he opens it, and which seems kind of weird. Does that mean it goes off anytime it gets opened?
I don't know.
He gets takes some papers out of there. I would have taken the money. I mean, there was a ton of money in there, but I guess I'm not as, not as good about my job as Bond is. So now we got police coming to find him. Yet another of your favorite things, and this is where I wanted to talk about the paper walls. You got all these paper walls, and then you got that steel automatic door.
I know.
Why? Why do you have the steel door?
Because people don't know. Well, don't walk a couple feet over and walk through the paper wall. Just there's a steel
That would
door.
be rude. That would be rude.
It
If you're
would-
going to steal,
You know what? That probably would work in Japan, right?
Right.
I mean, no, you don't walk through a wall. Everybody knows that.
right? So Bond gets away. Aki is conveniently there to help him escape. Then they go to this random building. Aki runs in. Bond chases her. And eventually she stops and just stares at him. And he starts to pursue her. And then all of a sudden Bond...
Yeah, this is where you're thinking, is she really a bad guy?
Right. And then he falls through the floor. And there's some great...
Goes down a slide.
Yeah, there's some great blue screen work there.
Yeah.
That's where I had another error. I kept saying blue screen or green screen. I guess back then it was blue screen. But then before this, they didn't even do blue screen. They just had projection. So like that scene from an earlier movie where they have the car behind it.
Oh, they truly just have a regular movie screen behind them
Yes.
and project on there.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
But this was a blue screen behind him as he's sliding down that very graceful entrance onto the chair.
With the chair perfectly placed.
How cool did he look though when he like flopped on it? Like he had this
Right.
pose
On like
that's
that reclining chair.
this is why women love him and men want to be him.
Yeah.
So Bond gracefully enters Tanaka's headquarters. Tanaka is, I mean, he's like the Japanese version of the head of, like the CIA or whatever, or MI6 or whatever. He's like the Japanese M.
Yeah.
I
It is
really-
pretty good. He kind of disses Bond about how easy it was to lure him onto
Yeah.
the slide and everything. That was pretty funny.
We get some really good camera work, like in there of his cameras. Just like in Thunderball, how you get to pinpoint exactly what Bond is doing the whole time as
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
chasing Aki.
know.
That was impressive. They got really good cameras.
Okay, his like hanging from the ceiling TV things were super awesome and
Yes.
modern looking, though, weren't they? They were
Yes.
really good.
They looked like something that would be in the World's Fair in
Right.
1955 or something.
Exactly. Or in like the World of Tomorrow in
Yes.
Disney World or something.
Yeah. Yep. Bond shows Tanaka those papers, and they just have some back and forth talk, and then Bond and Tanaka go to Tanaka's personal train. I would love to have a personal subway train.
Right? Especially somewhere like in Tokyo, right? Because it's so crowded. Having your own personal train to go around, that would be great.
Right. Talking about that a little bit, how crowded and everything, and just like Japanese. I love Japanese culture. Like I've read a lot of fiction and stuff lately that takes place in Japan, and it's really I would love to go there someday. So hopefully the government of Japan, as a future sponsor, will pay for me to come out there and visit them.
Yeah, and my son would like to go as well, so you can take him. Can you imagine Matthew towering over everyone in Japan?
That would be awesome. But the book really talks a lot more about Japanese culture and goes a little deeper into some of this stuff.
I will say that obviously they sort of tried to give Bond the hard sell in this movie on Japanese culture, and I feel like movie-wise they could have picked a little better parts of Japanese culture to sort of sell him on. We'll get to that, but
so eventually we get to Tanaka's home, and here we get some bath and tickle.
or something.
And you get the 4 ladies that come in that are going to give them a bath. And this quip I'm not even going to allow to be a quip, but Bond says, well, I like the plumbing when talking about the 4 girls. They're going to bathe him. And then we get what is the line that is aged the best of any line in any of these older Bond movies, where Tanaka tells Bond, in Japan, men come first, women come second. According to Austin Powers, women come sometimes not at all. In our houses, me and you, men better shut their mouths when watching a scene like this.
I think that would be wise. Well, and he makes the comment that English girls would never perform this service when they're bathing him. And I guess women have to wear bikinis when they're bathing men in Japan or something, according to this movie.
So we had a discussion, my family did, while we were watching this. Were Bond and Tanaka actually naked? I don't think they were.
I know. I was wondering if we were supposed to think that. I mean, I think it really was just a bath they were getting.
But a bath with swim trunks on.
Which honestly, not only would that probably not happen in this country unless you're paying for it one way or another, but not sure I really want somebody to bathe me like that. Like, I'm not sure this is what's going to sell me on a culture is to have women bathing me.
I mean, especially like both of them. Like
Yeah.
you and I sitting in this room.
Like,
like that, could you
hey,
imagine?
how's it going over there with your bath?
So weird.
Like, I don't think so. Yeah, it didn't make me think, well, I clearly need to become Japanese.
Right. Tanaka tells Bond that he can go get a massage now, and he can pick out whichever of the women he wants. And another favorite, if I'm being honest, the best lines in this movie are Tanaka, not Bond.
Yeah.
She's very sexyful.
I enjoyed that.
So he picks that one, and he gets his massage. Bond is a very hairy man, hairy like an animal. Austin Powers reference.
Oh.
And then after a little bit of massage, Aki comes in.
You know, birds don't make nest in bare tree.
Thank you. I forgot to write that down. I figured you would mention it.
What I'm not sure about. So Tanaka makes the reference about how Japanese men don't have hair on their chest, and clearly Sean Connery does. But I'm also not sure I understand why that comment means hairy chest is better or whatever. Because
Right.
a bird is going to use it to nest in.
Apparently, they don't have hair on their chest because they're only drinking like 13% plum wine as
Right.
opposed to, I was always told that, oh, here, drink this. It'll put hair on your chest. They never had any of those things. So we get our first actual slap and tickle of the movie with Aki after she gives Bond a little bit of massage. And I really like Aki. I think she's a great sidekick character in this one.
You know what? You want to know my wife's comment when this is happening? Because obviously this is the first time to sort of comment on this movie. Mm-hmm. That man would have so many STDs. That's her feelings about it.
It makes me think of Austin Powers again. When did you get the clapper?
Yes.
Oh.
You know what, though? We forgot something critical on
Okay.
the train.
Okay.
That is where they have sake served at precisely 98.4 degrees.
That's right. So that means we need to stop now and get our 98-degree sake.
It does.
So we now have our Soto Super Premium sake.
Super premium?
Super Premium. This is the one, apparently this is the kind you're supposed to warm. And it is currently warmed to a temperature very near 96.8 degrees. So
98.4, I thought it was. And it is in an actual sake little cup with a little sake serving pitcher.
our listener should really appreciate the depths we go to prepare for this show.
Yes.
Sake it to me.
Tastes like sake. It's good.
I mean, I've had sake before.
I have too, and it's good.
It's good.
And I do like the warm sake, I will say. I don't know if ours is the exact temperature, but it's good.
Right.
Your wife asked me what it tasted like, though, and I said, I don't think it tastes like anything else I can come up with.
I do believe it's made from rice.
I believe so.
So you get a little bit of a rice flavor in there. So now we have our little slap and tickle with Aki. Now Bond is going back to the Osato headquarters. He's pretending to be a businessman of some sort. It's at this point we meet Helga Brandt, played by Karen Dorr. She actually almost got recast because she wasn't able to get her work visa.
Oh,
I'm glad things like that don't happen anymore.
obviously.
She was not in the book at all.
Okay.
Her boss is Mr. Osato, played by Taro Shimada, as I mentioned earlier. He actually immigrated to the U.S. in the 30s, and he was in the movie The War of the Worlds from the 50s. Not the Tom Cruise one. I don't know if he was still around. He's also not in the book.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's basically most of this movie. There's nothing in the book in this movie. I'm going to talk about like the differences because
Wow.
there's enough of them that I'm going to talk about them in their own like segment. So they have a back and forth. Osato sees that Bond has a gun.
Well, hang on.
Yes.
You can't just say that. How does he see that Bond has a gun?
Oh, well, he's got a very cool little x-ray machine behind his desk that can clearly see them.
His desk was really great.
Almost worthy of being considered a gadget.
Yeah, and I will say that part of the Japanese culture thing, especially I expect at this time when they would have started making a lot of electronics, after the war, that was a great part. They had a lot of cool gadgets,
Yes.
the screens in Tanaka's office and that desk with the x-ray right in the desk so that he could see. Of course, like you said, it was helpful that the x-ray pointed exactly at the lower torso of James Bond, and that's what it saw. But it really was a great desk with a lot. I would love to have seen in real life what that prop looked like, because there were a lot of various buttons and screens and switches on there.
Right. The wet bar's still my favorite, though. Not much of a gadget, but come on, that was awesome.
I know. If only we could have offices like that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So some back and forth with Osato, and Osato tells Karen Dorr to kill Bond. Bond leaves the headquarters, and very inconspicuous assassins drive very slowly behind him with a gun to try to start to shoot him. And then Aki comes along and saves him in her little Toyota.
What type of car? Did you look up what type of car those assassins are in?
It is a Toyopet Crown.
Yes. Which is a Toyota.
Yes.
under a weird name that I had never heard until I looked it up.
Very popular car in Japan, from what I read. See, I got that Bond book about the cars, and now I'm bringing it for you.
So you've stolen all my thunders, basically.
Right.
They get away. I did like how her car behind the front seats, because it's like a 2-seater, she had like a little screen and everything.
Right.
That was pretty cool.
Yes.
She had a lot of cool gadgets in that car.
So we get what's possibly the best car chase yet in a Bond movie, with the Toyo Pet following Aki, and eventually they call on Tanaka for assistance for them chasing them.
Yeah, doesn't she call for the usual reception?
Yes.
She calls it.
Yes. I did want to say, amazing how their hair doesn't move while they're on that high-speed chase.
I know, in the convertible.
Right.
Yes.
So we get this chase.
No one thought to bring a fan into the studio even, right? To like make it act like there was wind.
Now we have a helicopter coming along with a big magnet, but I'm going to call it the magnetic phallicopter, because I don't know if you noticed what that helicopter looked like, but I'm going to say phallicopter.
Well, now I have to go back and watch.
Yes. And it picks up the little Toyo Pet. And
that really was good.
It was. It's a cool scene.
Now, of course, if I were driving the Toyo Pet, I might vary my speed in such a way that the helicopter wasn't directly overhead, lowering that magnet on me. I might like hit the brakes for like a half of a second.
Right.
But it was very cool the way it picked that car up.
What's also very cool is how the cameras, once again, like the little camera Bond is looking at. Where are these people, and how are they following the entire time as that Toyo Pet is being taken to the ocean?
My note said, "Who is filming?"
Right.
They didn't have drones back then. So he's watching the screen in her car, which is cool, and it is following keeping in frame the thing going out into the ocean. And we're not supposed to question how there's filming of that.
Right. We get our only quip of the movie. I'm going to be honest. There weren't any great quips from Bond in this one. But he says, just a drop in the ocean when they drop the car in.
That was all right.
It's fine.
It's all right.
Bond and Aki go to the docks to check out, because when he was talking to Tanaka earlier, there was a photograph of a ship from Shanghai that was, or Hong Kong, that was maybe part of this stuff. So they go and investigate that.
Seems like maybe people recognized him.
Yeah. Yeah, there's like 20 thugs that all of a sudden show up, and Aki gets away with clearly at one point a stunt double that most certainly had to be a man for Aki. I don't know if you noticed that.
No, I didn't.
But here we get quite possibly the best shot of a Bond movie so far. And it's him escaping to the roof and fighting all the guys on the roof. And you got like clearly, the helicopters shooting all around the roof as he's going through the guys. I thought that was amazing.
That was pretty good, right? You could see the people coming up and you could see him fighting. I mean, of course, in true hero movie fashion, like only one guy comes at him at a time.
Right.
Even though there are like 20 guys up there.
Right.
They don't decide, let's all stand 5 feet away from him and surround him. But still, it was a very, very cool shot, the way you could see the people running toward him and him fighting guys off. It was good.
Eventually, Bond jumps off the side of the building, does his little backflip onto the boxes below. That was Bob Simmons again. That guy...
Fortunately, very, very soft boxes.
Right. They probably had stuffed
twice.
animals in them. Stuffed animals or maybe
He jumps twice, right?
He does.
Jumps
he does
on
twice.
one set of boxes, and then he has to run some more and jump onto another set of boxes.
And then he falls behind the boxes, and then Sean Connery comes up. And
I noticed that too, right? Sean Connery's standing behind the boxes. Just walk out from here.
Yeah. But despite all that,
no, it was still good, though.
Yeah, it was very
good. He does
good.
get captured.
He does get captured. So now he's getting interrogated by Helga Brandt. This was the weirdest interrogation. It's like, does she want to kill him or not?
It's unclear what is going on here. He's obviously trying to talk her out of killing him or whatever she wants to do, and then she unties him.
Yeah, he says he's like
unknown reason,
like a corporate spy or something, still trying to keep his cover a little bit.
Yeah,
but then then we get slap and tickle number 2.
Well, yeah, I mean, she more or less says, "Oh, but I'll be in big trouble if I let you go or whatever." But then still, yes, she unties him. He's so irresistible that she lets him go, even though she knows that he's a spy and wants to kill her.
Good line, not worthy of a quip, but, the things I do for England.
Yes.
So rough for him.
But my thought on that was, if he's trying to pretend that he's this chemical executive guy,
Why would he say England?
Why would he say with the things I do for England?
The things I do for Amazon.com.
Right.
After the slap and tickle, then we're on a plane with Bond and Helga. And Helga's going to kill him. I mean, she just wanted hers, and then she's just going to jump out of the plane and kill him. So Bond, they like...
I guess that must have been her plan, to pretend she's helping him and then get him in the plane.
And some, like, divider thing covers his arms, and he
eventually... a board comes out from the side of the plane. I'm not sure where it came from. It's a very narrow plane.
Very, very cool, though, that Bond does the judo chop. He judo chops it to break it, and
he does. He doesn't consider maybe pulling his hands back toward his body and just pulling them out from under the board.
Right. Judo chops it.
I thought it looked like the least effective device to restrain someone that I could imagine, but the judo chop was great.
Yeah.
Or it was probably he was in Japan. It was karate chop.
Oh. But then how could we compare it to Austin Powers if it was karate chop?
I don't know.
So he gets control of the plane, kind of, and then crash lands it. The crash landing looked amazingly real. I mean, I'm sure that's I'm sure that's exactly what it looked like. And then he gets out. Of course, it explodes. They probably had rocket fuel in it instead of jet fuel. Right. So it just,
I assume
the plane just
blew up,
shredded.
Yep.
During all this, at one point during all this, Bond is telling Tanaka that he needs to call to get little Nellie and her father.
Yes.
So now we're back at Tanaka's with Aki, and they go to like this garage, and there comes my favorite character, Q, with like, 6 briefcases full of stuff.
We see too little of him in this movie.
We do.
Though. It's not my favorite of Q.
Right.
But it is good for him to show up and be annoyed with Bond, right? His role of being annoyed with Bond is great.
Yeah. You got to love his Florida retirement look, though, with his shorts and his, knee-high brown socks.
I guess I'm going to assume that once the British took over Bermuda or something, they discovered shorts and they decided, wait.
These are nice.
Men can wear shorts.
Apparently Desmond Llewellyn hated it, though. He absolutely hated that they made him wear shorts in this movie.
Oh, really?
And I guess in the other movie, in Thunderball, he also had shorts, so he wasn't a fan. But he stuck around anyway. So we get our gadget. This is really, I think, the only gadget for this movie. Little Nellie. We'll call her the Little Nellie-copter. Many, many cool things on this. We have flame guns, aerial mines, machine guns, heat-seeking missiles, and smoke ejectors. It was very cool. I thought that the way they put it together in the screen was kind of goofy. It felt very 60s.
Like they shipped it in a box and they put it together.
Well, just like how they filmed it. The pauses of the freeze frame where they plop, 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 and it got more and more stuff on it. It looked very 60s. Still, very awesome gadget. Bond takes flight. Of course, he buzzes Q a couple times to piss him off, because why not? But apparently the guy that was actually flying that, the stunt pilot, he spent like 40 hours flying that thing around while they were filming. Yeah. So Bond eventually goes to the volcanoes and checking those out. And then we see that he's being pursued by 4 helicopters. Because we have to show all of these gadgets that the little Nellie has.
Obviously.
He has to use all of the gadgets.
Yeah, he does.
So he takes out each helicopter with a different gadget.
Yeah.
It was cool. I mean, it's a very
because
cool...
the helicopters decided to attack him one helicopter at a time.
Right. But
he did have a lot of cool gadgets on
it was a very cool scene. And then there was a line, she defended her honor with great success. So now we get a brief point where we're seeing the Soviet rocket launch. What's funny, so we see a couple rocket launches. I don't know if you caught this. I didn't catch it. I read it as I was, doing the research and stuff. When they show the Soviet rocket launch, that's actually an American rocket going up.
Oh, really?
Yes. But that one gets captured again, just like the US one before it. Then we see Blofeld's rocket return to the volcano. A bunch of different henchmen running around doing whatever henchmen do.
I know. Boy, there were a lot of them, weren't they?
Well, I have a question about that a
And
little
they
later.
had different colored outfits
That was
on?
what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and address it. What did the different colors mean? I think the red meant they were brutes because you had that one guy later on that was in red that apparently he was the only one that could fight.
Yeah,
and
some
bond.
guys are probably like the technical,
Mm-hmm.
landing crew and all those things. But boy, they had precision landing of that spacecraft, didn't they? Which, of course, was not a thing that had ever been invented or
Right.
even thought to be possible at that point.
Right. We get a brief little scene at the Pentagon with these mysterious old dudes just chattering a little bit. Then we go back to the volcano where the they're unloading the Russian rocket with the two cosmonauts.
Yeah.
Briefly, we get to see Mr. Bigglesworth again.
We do.
The cosmonauts are taken on a monorail, which is more. It's more of a Shelbyville
loved-
thing. It's more of a Shelbyville thing. But we'll talk about the monorail.
Yes. The monorail was totally necessary.
Yeah.
The first thing you would have built inside that crater was the monorail.
Well, how else are you going to see It's a Small World after all?
That's right. The thing about the monorail was they didn't address how the multiple cars on the monorail seem to be able to travel independently to go where they want. But
Right.
there's just one rail.
Right.
Like they'd all be stuck behind each other.
Right. We meet our arbitrary big blonde henchman working for Blofeld.
Yeah, does that guy ever say anything? He just sort
don't
of
think so.
stands there.
He does.
Yeah.
We hear that there are piranhas. They're probably ill-tempered piranhas. Austin Powers reference. And Helga and Osato are getting chastised by Blofeld. Blofeld eventually decides that one of them is going to be punished, and it turns out to be Helga Brandt. And she gets to go swim with the fishes.
Yeah, well, how does he get her in there? He
Just
makes him walk across
Makes him walk across this big, metal bridge.
bridge.
Yeah,
and then the
pushes a
bridge
button.
goes out. The bridge looks very flimsy when he lets it drop
Right.
down. I mean, I'm sure it's a prop and maybe it isn't even, like, who knows, but yes, it looked very flimsy, but yeah, that's not good
Yeah.
when he tells you to walk across there and then he hits the button to make it plop down.
Right. I did read that Helga Dora, the actress, she wanted to do that scene herself. So that's her the whole time, like
okay.
falling in and everything. I thought that was pretty cool. Now we go to the ninja training camp, which was filmed at a castle that has been around since 1609. I mentioned this in Thunderball. There's a guy by the name of Charlie Rusham who helped get military equipment and stuff. So all that stuff, because you basically get to see like a Tanaka Q branch, and you get all the gadgets and all the, the weaponry and everything, and the
Yeah.
training center. It kind of reminds you of the Spectre Training Center
Right,
from Russia with Love. But that guy, the Charlie Rusham guy, in real life, he was the military guy that somehow is able to procure all this stuff for these movies. Tanaka, showing him all the gadgets, and then we get the cigarette rocket. And if I'm being honest, this is the best quip of the movie. I'm not going to count it because it wasn't a Bond quip. It can save your life, this cigarette, because Bond or Tanaka shoots it at a target
Yeah.
and it explodes. There's no way that's going to appear later in the movie, though.
No.
Because why would they show it?
No. Why would they?
Now we get the most questionable part of this movie easily. So is Bond turning Japanese?
Yeah, I'm not even sure it's questionable.
The most concerning part of
Yes.
this. I really think so. I really think he's turning Japanese. They cut his hair. They do something with his eye. It's so weird. In the book, it makes a little more sense. He's got to infiltrate a very specific place in the book. In the movie, like halfway through him going to the volcano, he doesn't even look that way anymore. It's so odd.
No, it is. But you do like to have your nurses dressed exactly like the people who bathe you in like pink bikinis.
Well,
so-
sure.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Definitely. It's more sanitary to do the operation or whatever
Right.
they did in pink bikinis.
We then get a scene at Tanaka's with Bond and Aki that night. Probably some slap and tickle. I wouldn't be surprised. But then an assassin comes in and he dangles this long string and just puts a little poison on it to drop down. And the drops are supposed to go in Bond's mouth. Of course, Bond moves. Aki moves over, goes right into her mouth, and she dies.
That was sad.
It was sad. And
But,
it's a trend
yeah.
in these. Like, because Aki, it's like, is she a Bond girl? Is she a sidekick?
Yeah.
I think I kind of go Bond girl with her just because we have Tanaka.
Right.
But at the same time, he's been working with her a lot. And
Right.
her
She
dying is going to
another
fuel him.
spy or something.
Yes.
I really liked the shots of the poison kind of dripping down the string. I mean, it was kind of a fascinating thing to think of doing.
Yeah.
Gives me lots of ideas if necessary at some point.
We mourn Aki a little bit, and then we go back to the ninja training. You know, we see all these ninja guys doing all kinds of cool different stuff. Now, for me, I break my ice for my whiskey the same way as that guy with his head.
With his head.
But I'm a man, so I don't use that towel. I just go straight onto the ice.
Instead, I'm going to be more like the guy who chopped a watermelon, which didn't seem quite as impressive
Yeah.
as the guy who chopped the ice with his
Right.
head.
Bond is, walking around the ninja training camp and then doing a little practice. And then you got a guy with a bamboo stick that a knife comes out of the bamboo stick and he actually tries to kill Bond. So one of the guys there was an assassin, probably for Spectre. Wonder how much he got paid to do that role.
Yeah.
So we continue with the ninja
Just
training.
another henchman dead.
Continue a bit with the training. Eventually, it's revealed that Bond has to get married for some reason. I mean,
So he can go to the other island and work?
I
They-
guess.
They kind of say.
I guess. Very flimsy.
Yeah. It didn't seem all that necessary.
So we get to the marriage, and Bond being the, chauvinistic guy that he is.
Well, what does Tanaka tell him about? Bond makes some comment about the wife better be good looking, and Tanaka says,
She's a pig.
yeah.
So Bond's looking at all these pigs walking up the steps.
Yeah.
And then we get to Kissy Suzuki. That's a pretty good name. Kissy Suzuki.
Yes, it is.
Who, of course, is not a pig.
No.
None of them were pigs. I
No.
mean, these are all just...
Some of them were old.
Yeah, they were
right?
just
some
older.
of them were older.
Speaking as older men, we would never insult a woman just
My
because she's
goodness, no.
older. Man. So we see Kissy Suzuki. He gets married. I liked the actual ceremony. I thought that was cool. I thought that was
Yeah.
a good touch on, Japanese culture. So I want to talk about the actress that played Kissy Suzuki a little bit. As I said earlier, she didn't speak English very well, if at all, and she was worried she was not going to get cast because of it. They were going to pass on her, and the actor playing Tanaka told the producers that she was going to kill herself over it.
Oh my goodness.
Now, I will tell you, in the book, they really talk about suicide a lot. In term, it's something that I think is more prevalent in Japanese culture.
Like Harry Carey.
Yeah, yep.
Which
is
sure
a
I'm not
great
pronouncing
movie.
right. Yeah.
If we ever do whatever other season of a podcast we do, I'll make you watch Harikari. So she was going to kill herself over it, and then Cubby Broccoli intervened and said that she should stay. So they ended up just overdubbing her. But we are seeing less and less of that overdubbing. So that's good. So now we get this honeymoon on the boat with Tanaka and 30 strangers, just for them to get to the volcano. They arrive at their honeymoon suite. Slap and Tickle gets interrupted by Tanaka. They decide they're going to go ahead and go to the volcano and investigate. Really,
Well, they go to work, don't they? They get on their boat and go to work
Yeah.
as fisher people.
right, to get to that area.
And the fisher women in Japan apparently wear bikinis.
Right.
It's probably the most practical dress. But yeah, they get on like a little boat and they have to row out to where they're supposed to work.
Yeah. Oh, I thought that was
So then
pretty
they go
bad.
to investigate.
Yeah, before that, just like her sitting on... There's a scene with her sitting on the boat where it was so bad blue screen. It was like, why is this even in this?
Yes.
But now, they go to scout the volcano. And they can't figure out. They see like a helicopter, and they can't figure out. The helicopter goes into one of the
A crater,
craters, and then they go to the volcano, and it's not there, and they don't understand what's going on. So then we go back to the Pentagon just briefly, and now the Americans are firing a rocket, and the scene where the Americans are firing a rocket, that's an actual Russian rocket that's being fired.
Really?
I don't know why they screwed
They
up the
mixed
film.
it up.
Yeah,
Wow.
but that was pretty funny. So Bond is now going to infiltrate the volcano because we see it like open.
Well, he figures out, he asks how deep the water would be.
Yeah.
And he throws a rock into
Yes.
the water, and it just bounces across.
Yes. And then it opens up.
Then he's walking on the water, and it opens, and he figures out that there's a big place underneath.
And he very conveniently has suction cups on him. Like he knew he was
I
going to
wrote the same thing. So he can suction cup down the inside of the volcano.
Apparently that's the way they shot that. Like the guy was sideways or something. Because there's no way that would ever work.
Oh,
Suction
my
cups
gosh,
would
no.
those would
No.
never work.
No.
So Bond, who no longer looks Japanese at all, by the way, not that he ever really did in the
No,
first
he
place,
didn't.
but he gets in there, he hitches a ride.
He was Japanese for one day of going over there and going out on a fishing
Yes.
boat.
There must have been spies everywhere. They were just looking for him.
There
Even
must
though at this point they still think he's dead, right?
Yeah, it's very confusing.
Anyway, Bond gets to the cell where the astronauts and cosmonauts are being, held and breaks them out. They're all good at hand-to-hand. All those astronauts are pretty good fighters.
They are.
So, I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense.
Probably were in the Navy,
Right.
although the Navy doesn't have a lot of hand-to-hand combat, but they must teach you something.
Yeah. While we're doing this, we see also Kissy trying to escape, and she gets shot at by helicopters and dives under the water. Then Bond and the astronauts put on disguises by taking out some random henchmen. It's nice that all of those disguises perfectly fit all of them.
Yes.
From there, Bond is going to get on the rocket. I'm not sure what...
Yeah, I don't know what he thought he was going to do.
Right.
But yes.
But Blofeld sees him and stops him and has him escorted to Blofeld. So now we get to see Blofeld. This is the first time we see him. And he clearly looks just like Dr. Evil.
Yes.
And like I said, this was Donald Pleasance, who was in Halloween and Escape from New York. He was also in the movie The Great Escape. Have you seen The Great Escape?
No.
Oh, that's a good one. He's got this big scar. He's got Mr. Bigglesworth. He's just, he looks good. It's a good.
Yeah, he's a good.
Even
bad
had I
guy.
not seen Austin Powers first, I'm like, oh wow, that's a good bad guy. Briefly, we go back to Tanaka and Suzuki. They're bringing the ninjas to, invade the volcano.
Yeah.
Bond and Blofeld have their, nice back and forth chatting while everybody's fighting. Bond asks, they're going to show Bond, the hijacking and yet again, escalating the war.
We see them launch.
Yes.
That thing that eats the other capsules.
And Bond asks for a cigarette while they're doing it.
Yes.
And Blofeld being, the typical
May
villain.
I smoke? He says.
Blofeld being the typical villain, it's like, well, of course you can. I am a gracious host, even though I want to kill you. So he gets his cigarette, and then we get that one red shirt guy. There's one red shirt out of all these other guys. So like I said, he's got to be the brute. Of course the red shirt dies. This may not be Star Trek, but I guess it still happens. Maybe this is where Star Trek took it from.
Yes. Okay, one of the things I noticed when the rocket was launching is that the flames were going up from the bottom of the engine. Like they were going up and around the bottom of the thing, which meant obviously you could clearly see someone had just, for the special effect, they probably had a tiny rocket where they had lit something on the bottom of it. But flame wants to go up instead of being pushed down like it is on a rocket, where you have obviously a lot more actual propulsion.
Right.
That distracted me.
So Bond uses the cigarette to take out the red shirt and reopen the volcano so the ninjas can get in.
Yeah.
This was a pretty intense fight. Like, there's a lot of guys dying on both
And
sides.
they start to close the roof again,
Yes.
and someone decides to blow the roof, and he's got some kind of,
From the inside.
from the inside,
Yes.
some kind of device. And at that point, when he's putting something on the underside of the roof, you can clearly see that it's some kind of fabric. Like it's
Right.
very wavy when he's trying to put something on it. But
Well, and it makes a very symmetrical opening once it blows up. Like it
really
was like a
does.
perfect symmetrical thing. One thing I want to say about all the fighting is that this was before there was like martial arts movies in the West and stuff. Like you didn't see this stuff. So it was like ahead of its time depicting all that Eastern style fighting with the ninjas and everything. We go back to Blofeld, and I don't know if you noticed this. The cat is freaking out in this
Oh,
scene.
really?
Yeah.
No.
Like Blofeld is like holding him super tight, and the cat is like, I want to get out of here. And I read about this. According to the crew, when they were doing some of the gunfire sounds, the cat wanted nothing to do with it. And it actually escaped, ended up like 20 feet over the set in like the rafters, and they couldn't find it for days.
Oh my
And
gosh.
the cat handler was so pissed about it because that cat never again would go onto a movie set.
Oh, wow.
Big diva, get over it. But yes, you need to go back and look at that cat. It's crazy. So Bond and Blofeld Blofeld's running away at this point, and Bond's trying to pursue him. And then Bond once again is he's with Asata, and Blofeld's there. Asata gets executed for his failure. And then Blofeld goes to shoot Bond, and the gun gets shot out of his hand by Tanaka.
Bond just sort of stood there.
Yeah.
Like he was just willing to get shot.
Right. From that point, Bond, he takes out a bunch of henchmen.
Did you notice the use of the throwing star?
I did.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
cool.
that was cool. Bond gets his little fight with the big bad Blondie, gets his ass kicked for most of that fight.
Yeah.
Or I should say the clear stuntman gets his ass kicked for most of that fight. And eventually, of course, we get the piranhas again, where Bond gets him up onto the bridge and flips him over into the ill-tempered piranhas.
And then says,
Bon appetit.
yes.
That wasn't worth a quip.
Okay.
It was close, but During all this, we're seeing the Pentagon, and we're seeing them talking about they're going to go to war.
Where they're going to
this.
go to war because that thing is up there and it's about to eat their spacecraft.
Right. But Bond gets back into the main headquarters and finds the control panel that is able to blow up the capsule that's going to...
Well, it was convenient that Blofeld explained the technique to do the self-destruct because they were going to self-destruct once they had the American capsule in there.
Yes. Villains love exposition. They love to tell you exactly what they're doing.
I hadn't explained to you earlier, the 97 times we went over this plan, how the self-destruct works. So I'm going to explain it to you right now in front of the spy who's clearly not going to get away and save the day.
Yeah. So from there we have Blofeld. He's just pissed at how much money he spent at Disney World, and all he did was ride around on a bunch of monorails. So he decides to blow up his own volcano. Everybody gets out. Planes drop a bunch of life rafts. And, I mean, there's no way. They're not going to do this for a fourth time where Bond ends up in the ocean on a boat or a raft, are they?
No.
Oh, no, they definitely are. That's exactly what's going to happen. I will say, I guess it's not definite that this is Slap and Tickle number 3, but I'm going to say it. I'm going to say that he and Suzuki, because it went from night to day pretty quickly. I would assume there's a little more time there.
You don't really know.
He doesn't have a shirt on by the time,
I guess you're right.
I think they did. So Slap and Tickle number 3 was Suzuki on the raft. And then from there, the submarine comes up out of the water and the raft is on top of it. And that ends our movie.
That must have been tricky to film that.
It's interesting you say that. They could not get it to work.
Yeah.
So what they did, they put the raft on the submarine went down, and then they reversed the film. That's how they had to get it done.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, they could not get the raft to stay on
Because
there.
if you've ever done something like that, the raft probably just wants to fall off to the side as the water's being pushed out of the way by the submarine coming.
Right. That's the movie. Okay, so I have one little trivia thing. It's just funny. The volcano set that they built, which was at Pinewood, that cost as much as Dr. No, the movie, cost. It was $1 million for that volcano set.
$1 million.
$1 million. It was pretty cool. I mean, it was a cool set.
It was a cool set.
So final thoughts and rating. We're going to do this a little more thorough this time. So this is going to put you on the spot because I didn't prepare you for this part. But we're kind of going to just talk about a couple things we liked and maybe a couple things we didn't. It can be as many or as few as you want. So in terms of the movie, the things I liked, I loved the magnetic car drop. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
I loved the shot of Bond on the roof fighting all those guys and then flipping onto the boxes. I didn't think this movie dragged like Thunderball. Like, you don't have that 20-minute underwater scene in this. I
Yeah.
think it was pretty well paced. And I loved seeing all the Japan stuff. The things I didn't like, turning Japanese, it seems so unnecessary in this movie.
Yes.
And the whole story was kind of goofy. Just plotting to put Russia and U.S. against each other over rockets like that with nobody even thinking that somebody else could be doing it. That was kind of silly.
Yeah, especially when if they can track their own rockets, they couldn't track where this rocket came back in and landed.
Right. So I would give this one 4 stars out of 5. I still really liked it. I think I love the music. I thought the score was amazing on this one. It's just not on the level of the ones, obviously, I've given 5 stars. So what did you like about it? Anything different from what I said in terms of what you like and didn't like?
No, I mean, I did like that Toyota convertible.
Yeah.
And all the gadgets on there.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, the magnetic thing is great. And yes, magnetic thing is great. I really did like the comedy of Bond falling through the floor down the slide into Tanaka's office.
Yeah.
I liked that. That was pretty good.
So where are you at?
I think it's 4 stars.
4
It's not 5, but it's got a lot of good things in it. And it was very cool being in Japan, other than the aforementioned
Right.
Bond turning Japanese. But,
Right.
although I'm not going to just decide to become Japanese because women will bathe me or whatever.
Right.
Wonder if that still happens.
I don't know. All right, we'll do our rankings now. Movie ranking, I put this one at number 4. I still think it's better than Dr. No just because it checks all the Bond boxes.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay. Bond girl ranking. So we got Aki and Kissy Suzuki. I put Aki at number 4, right below Domino. And Kissy Suzuki at number 6, right below Tilly Masterson from Russia with Love, who is the sister.
I would put... I mean, Suzuki's just not in it that much. Right? She doesn't do very much. So I would probably put her...
Well, bear in mind, she worked for Tanaka, and I mean, she was in it quite a bit. For me, she was in it quite a bit more than like Jill Masterson, who was the one that just got painted gold. Like, she basically had one scene.
Yeah. But I would probably put her at 6.
Okay.
Aki obviously does a lot more,
Yeah.
and she drives that cool car. And so I did like her. I would probably put her in front of Honey Rider at number 4.
Villain ranking. We have Blofeld and Helga Brandt. This is the first time Blofeld actually gets on the villain ranking list.
I was going to say, why isn't he on there from
Because,
before?
I mean, he hasn't really appeared as one of the
we
main
haven't
baddies.
seen him, I guess.
So at this point, I'm still putting Blofeld at number 4, which is just right below Goldfinger. I mean, Goldfinger is kind of a wuss, but Blofeld's not really much different.
Do a lot. Yeah, I agree with you. I'd
Helga,
put him at 4.
yeah, and then Helga Brandt was pretty cool, but still,
No, she's not my favorite.
she's number 6 behind Odd Job. I like Odd Job better.
I
than
like Odd Job.
Helga Brandt.
I mean, I had him at 4 on mine anyway. I had him higher than you. I mean, I think I rank her just right above Kleb, maybe on my list. She was okay, but she's a little weird the way she lets him go. I guess she does plan the whole time to kill him in the plane.
The plane thing was pretty cool.
It was, but she just didn't have a ton, but she was good.
Sidekick ranking. We just got Tanaka. I put Tanaka at number 2. He's a pretty cool dude. Nobody's ever going to top Karim Bey for me, I don't think.
No.
We'll see as we watch all these again, but Tanaka was pretty cool.
Yes. He was better than Quarrel. I mean, he's not better than Karim Bey, who just is so happy.
Yeah.
But he's probably at number 2.
Quip ranking. I decided Just a Drop in the Ocean is the only one that's even worthy of being on here.
Okay.
Even with that, I'm putting it at number 9.
Yeah,
So it's
I
dead
agree.
last.
It's last. Yep.
Gadget ranking. The little Nellycopter's pretty awesome. It's no Aston Martin DB5, but it's still pretty awesome. I got it at number 2.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't love it. I know that's weird, but I'm going to put it at 4 because I loved the briefcase and the jetpack
Wow.
too. I don't
Below
know
the
what to tell you.
briefcase.
Here's the thing. I didn't feel like the helicopter really accomplished all that much.
Okay.
Yes, he had to use the gadgets, but not much really happened. He flew over the island,
Yeah, but
which
he
was
took out
sort
4
of
helicopters with it.
He did, but it was sort of like, why did he need to do that anyway? Like they knew something was happening on the island, and he ends up going over there anyway. Maybe that was it partly for me, and it also the shots of him in the air looked a little bit goofy.
That's true. I will give you that. Theme song ranking. I put this one at number 3. I really don't remember this one all that well. I mean, Goldfinger and Thunderball, I knew both of those. This one is just kind of forgettable. Like I said, I like the score.
I'm even putting it at 4 because
you're going to put it above From Russia with Love.
Yeah, because I remember From Russia with Love.
Okay.
It's not my favorite, but it sticks in my head. This one, to me, there's nothing catchy about the song.
Yeah. In conjunction with our rankings, we have our slap and tickle count. We are now up to 11. So Bond scored 11 times in 5 movies. Good for Bond.
As my wife says, he would have a lot of STDs.
Yes.
Because this is just on the missions we've seen him
Right.
on, Mike, right?
Right.
The 75 other missions he completes all the time, plus his time off.
He has his Walter PPK. He's got protection.
Yes.
Bond in a boat count, 4. I think it tails off after this, but the fact that 4 of the first 5 movies he's somewhere on the water is insane to me. Book comparisons. Just wanted to talk about a few other things from the book. So this book actually takes place after On Her Majesty's Secret Service, which makes it a very different book from the movie. Because On Her Majesty's Secret Service, spoiler alert, that's going to be our next episode. Bond actually got promoted out of 007 in the book, and he was given the number 7777.
What?
Yeah, it's really weird. But he was no longer technically a spy. But the book...
He's just like a manager? He's middle management now?
Yeah, kind of. The book plot is more about Bond getting personal revenge. I don't want to go into that too much because it'll spoil On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Okay.
But that's how they're related.
So they had to cut that out because they hadn't made the other movie.
Yes. But you know what happens, so we'll talk about it next time. The villain is called Shatterhand, or the Death Collector, but it is Blofeld. He has a garden of toxic plants where people can go to commit suicide.
So is the Garden of Toxic Plants instead of Piranha, or is it
Yes.
just a totally different thing?
I mean, there's no Blofeld. Or I'm sorry, there's no like volcano or anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But the Ian Fleming spends like 5 pages describing all the toxic plants that are in Blofeld's garden.
Oh, wow.
It's so weird. Bond doesn't fake his death, but he does turn Japanese in the book. But in the book, it's him infiltrating that area. It makes a little more sense, but still.
Then going out on a fishing boat for one day.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's it. You only live twice. Our next episode, On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Now,
Not Sean Connery.
this one I've only seen one time, and I'm not even sure I'm going to remember it because that was years ago. So this will be interesting.
Fair warning, this, I believe, until we get to the Daniel Craig ones, this is the longest James Bond movie.
Okay.
It's like almost 2.5 hours.
All right. I'm
That's
sure I
it.
can endure it.
Charlie, thank you for the sake and the sake set. That was very nice.
Yes. Thank you,
And,
Mike. It was fun. We found 2 drinks that were pretty good.
We did.
Yeah,
I'm
that
going to
was
drink the rest of that wine tonight.
Yeah.
And we will talk to everybody next time for On Her Majesty's Secret Service. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Bottled in Bond. If you'd like to send us a message, you can do so at bottledinbondpod@gmail.com. Till your next briefing, pour yourself a drink, light a smoke, and find yourself a spirited companion. Goodbye.